Casquarelli is an English instructor and director-organizer of the Poetry Club at CUNY Kingsborough in Brooklyn, New York. He was awarded the 2010 Esther Hyneman Award for Poetry, and his work has appeared in several publications and anthologies, including Storm Cycle 2012, The Best of Kind of a Hurricane Press, Pyrokinection, Kinship of Rivers by the Overpass, The Mindless Muse, the Poetry Project blog, among others. His first full-length book, on Equilibrium of Song, was published by Overpass Books in 2011. When not reading and writing poetry, John can be seen drinking way too much iced coffee. Please welcome John Casquarelli.
Water, not iced coffee. Hi, you can kind of consider what I'm going to do today just like one long poem or rant, which combines two of my favorite things, like Aimee, dirt, and my long rants. So let's start. Maybe it was the way I placed the brush on the dresser that morning, or the black and white photo you always carried of the little boy leaning against the schoolyard fence because he reminded you of your father, the one that left, the one that kept on leaving. Love is an old word we forget every morning amid mass machine tendrils of granite, unconscious, red lights blink over human tininess. Iron brains tied to overpriced university. We came for something, anything, nothing, then disappeared as if to seal our silence, to haunt the editorial pages, the invisible Niagaras whose scarred fingers beg for cigarette hotel room 4 a.m. Rejoice at the last syllables of a Shakespearean sonnet. Here in the face of war. Here when the news greets us with new health scares. Here where Montreal goes unreported. Here where our taxes fund our own prisons. Here where visions lie scattered across car graveyard. Here amid the black bubbles of refineries. Here as we vanish in a cloud of vague generalities. How easy trust can bleed through acid sunsets torn from stone tenements that leave nostalgic aftertaste. Wait for glass promise under the harsh light of yesterday, and write on a sheet of paper how each look resembles a long absence. My mother always believed I would make a great artist or zookeeper. Both jobs would potentially get me laid by really brainy women. I like to consider myself an intellectual, but only after a few apologies. We friends of purpose, plowshares, and pruning hooks who call risk fire to the nervous system, a seize your coat first response to bleeding because grace is not time dependent or something you can wish away under an apple tree. Close your eyes and ears. Leave impressions in sand. Or during one of your Freudian stages that always seems to last a few weeks and promises some grand ending because that's what gives it value, the same self-worth that borders on delusional but is part of the human condition, the part of condition that cradles constellations, shrieks at the infinite abandonment from roofs of caverns until breathless, naked, glowing. These little unguarded moments essential to our lives that add moonlight to our bones, that silences the pool's echo when names from our past fade in sympathetic songs of sobs and sawdust. Guess which nauseous-stricken analyst they let drown in midnight coffee? If Samuel Beckett was alive, he'd put his money in green suitcases and cry for the machine gun orchestra. Let the ravens settle on the blinking motel traffic sign. Today, I said possible 3 times. This highway is beat up concrete. We pass at 8:30 cool morning toward the Dakotas, free of billboards and advertisements. And you say, go away. I'm seeking truth. So we drive on, puzzled, willing to get lost in some farmer's backyard, discuss memories, birth control. And I confess to being an unfeeling, ignorant clod, a sort of trousered ape to whom it is obviously a waste of time to take an interest in anything higher than Lady Gaga's underwear. Isn't it enough to know the engine is flooded? But of course, that's technology. It's so simple when you see it. Barbed wire fences, locked gates, signs that say no trespassing, fewer trees, and a sudden feeling of being a spectator amid the rattles near cottonwoods. After a while, we whisper to mountain sunlight, run down each other's ghosts, move to the bed by the window. I read a sentence or two from an old butterfly journal, afraid that voices will be silent if I let them. As soon as the wind stops, we rest our heads on the sleeve of my jacket. Think of the empty road in the photograph. Is there anything more, you ask, besides one tiny refuge of scrub pines and mosquito repellent? Familiarity makes it hard to see past shady curbstone behind hotel where you can throw a penny onto a small green plane, reach some temporary goal that explains how much better it is to travel than to arrive. Forgetfulness has its place, though I wouldn't blink or show the slightest change of expression. Mischief can be a tornado. Maybe dreams formed in corners atop fire, fury, awareness, trample the sun at 3 o'clock and abandon that one scene of my life that keeps reminding me every day of what I lost, that smile, those distant sugarcane fields you once labored in, stories that shade by canvas. Scribble on a piece of paper and slip it into the pocket of my khakis. Months later, return back to the Panama sun, walk 12 hours, spot a tall man, and introduce myself as sweet mango juice tears that fill a morning sky. Roll like syrup in front of a mirror because the winter was long. Blow a kiss several miles to those dark, hazel eyes, then suddenly find the will to escape to cobblestone streets. Chew on a toothpick and fast forward to echoes of unanswered questions. Stare at bird's nest and dandelion seed and realize I would have picked no other day, place, or time. Forms grow with every explanation. There are many ways to express color. Whenever you divorce a topic, you sleep with the next stanza. Tuesday, May 28, 2013, 7:51 p.m. My father enjoyed collecting musical instruments. He never played any of them. He just seemed to take pleasure in imagining the music. My father would also listen to the same 4 stations on his car radio. Sometimes the last note of your favorite song resonates long after the song is over. In San Juan, Sammy told a story of a cloud that wept when it forgot the ocean's lyrics. If there's one regret, it might be never having said, I understand. There are days I wish for 8-track tapes and a bottle of Don Q. Remember, it's only a memory if you let me in. Arms shake while holding the sidebars of his hospice bed. A tsunami crash that parts every inch of his body with each labored breath. Notes that include directions on Xanax, Haldol, morphine, ibuprofen, and oxygen. A comfort pack in the fridge. That's not very comforting, and still no way of knowing how to say goodbye. Eventually, all palm trees lose their branches. When Hugh Hefner dies, no one will say he went to a better place. Maybe I'll find the strength to leave my doubts behind, study stars until they give me an answer, or leave me with new questions. He would leave his bedroom door open just enough to remind me how safe I could feel every time the winds picked up. By no means did he rely on nostalgia to make me lose my sense of time and place. So I waited until he walked past his closet beyond my vision. I waited until I began to understand my limitations. I sit on my father's shoulders through years of gray sky wonder, sing a hymn about doves who rise past whirling winds to feed a dream's appetite. It's so serene when you're 20,000 feet in the air. Perhaps gravity will look away and allow us a few moments of peace. There's a postcard on his dresser of a sailboat falling off the edge of the world. The setting sun is searching for a short-haired woman holding a lantern. It understands how empty the landscape is when all we do is live in canopic jars. If an echo could undress a rose bush, it would leave everything unfinished. Each window is a letter about leaving home. If you must dance, do so under a street lamp in January when the neighborhood girls are watching. We exit I-95 at Hillsborough Boulevard, head east and speak in riddles for a while. His condo isn't far away, but we decide to head to the pier instead. The waves are choppy, and a couple of teenage surfers are pointing at a section of whitewater, anticipating their next foam climb. I keep staring at the moving waves because they remind me that any moment may be a new discovery. Follow tracks to midnight meditations, reach for hillside country until we pass outhouses that line the edge of the fields. Somewhere between the pieces, I see the green summer grass and find you there.